Majestades, queridos premiados, señoras y señores, amigos, debo comenzar diciendo que es un honor abrumador recibir un premio Princesa de Asturias. That's my Spanish. I am absolutely delighted to receive the prize, not only on my own behalf, but also on behalf of all those teachers, scholars, and writers who work hard to make our conversation with the ancient world so live, so engaging, and so rewarding. There are excellent people here in Asturias doing exactly that, and some of them I've had the privilege and the pleasure of meeting over the last few days. I also like to think that part of this honour is going to that ancient race, brutal, imperialist, and misogynistic though they undoubtedly were, whose literature still challenges us, whose law and politics inform our own, whose strange habits still puzzle us, and whose traces are literally beneath our feet. I'm talking, of course, about the Romans. And I should add that I had tremendous fun finding them just beneath the surface of the soil of Asturias when I visited the villa of Veranes on Tuesday, and I shall be raising a glass to Cicero tonight. That visit was part of this week's cultural programme, which for me has been a shining example of how history, ancient or modern, is best done. History is not simply a subject for a few lonely professors locked up in their libraries. It's a communal, shared, citizenly activity in which I would hope that everyone can be involved, from little kids to their grandparents, and from avid book readers to those who turn on their televisions from their sofas. Not to be able to think historically makes poorer citizens of all of us. And that's because history is not simply about the past. As a conversation between the present and the past, it is just as much about us. Now, I don't mean by that we can learn lessons directly from history. History isn't an answer book to current problems, but it does teach us about ourselves. It challenges our cultural certainties, and it opens our eyes to different perspectives. And it encourages a degree of cultural humility. Of course, there has been progress since antiquity. For all the work on women's rights that we still have to do all over the world, there is no woman on the planet who would choose to go back to ancient Rome unless they were sure they had a return ticket back to the 21st century. But we still have slaves, even though we don't call them that. And there is no best-selling book in the West that has ever had more readers than Virgil's Aeneid. So best-selling writers must take note. Our history also crosses modern boundaries. There's a famous English poem by a 16th century poet, John Donne, which starts, "No man is an island, entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the continent." Now, I'm afraid my fellow countrymen have recently forgotten that message, but the poem has been in my head this week. In the events that we have here enjoyed together, I have felt part of a shared history and of a shared continent. Y por todo eso me siento muy afortunada. Gracias.